I just bought the cheapest plasma cutter, TIG welder, and stick welder on eBay. Is it gonna be any good? Is it gonna break the first time I try it? I don't know, let's find out. That's very cool, okay. Do that again. I do loads of car stuff in my garage, and one of the things that I need to do is cut metal and weld it. Two things. But the MIG welder that I currently have is quite old. I bought it broken on Facebook Marketplace and fixed it. It works fine, but it's not the best. I've always wanted to stack some dimes and make some very nice looking welds. So let's have a look at this. Let's see if we can do something good with it. Right, let's get the box open. Let's see what's inside. The first thing I noticed was how light the box is. It feels, you know, that was actually a little bit heavy, but it only weighs 9.48 kilos. This welder is an absolute beast. It's so heavy. It probably weighs like 30 kilos, something like that. So moving it around the shop is pretty difficult. Whereas actually having this might be really good, might be way more convenient. What have we got in the box? We've got user manual, which looks pretty good. This came from Germany, but it then came from China. I'm expecting there might be some questionable translations. If you equip with the front panel brush speakers, no, actually good translations, so that's nice. So what's in here? Water trap, that's good. Little mount for it. Pressure gauge as well, that's good. Oh yeah, you see it on the side of the box. I'm not sure what some of that is. These are obviously the nozzles for the welders. That's cool. That's the handle for the gun, I think. The handle, that's good. Oh, nice. I'll have a look at that in a second. The hose with the denim sleeve. That's quite cool, actually. It's really cool. I like that. The actual plasma cutter. This is the main thing that I needed. Sick. That looks pretty cool. It smells new. It smells a bit chemically, but it actually smells quite nice. Some more nozzles, hose with a bit of oil in it, and some Jubilee clips and some compressor quick attachments. Cool. Look at this. Look how small it is. That weighs a few kilos. That can't even lift up with one hand. That's crazy. If this works and it doesn't break, that is going to be a game changer. It means I can move it around the garage way more easily. Right, I'm going to have a quick read of the instructions and then we'll get it set up. Do not use anything other than compressed air. Acceptable air pressure is 50 to 80 psi. Recommended most effective is 60 psi. Yeah, so I'm just going to read through and get these all sorted. It does come with a European plug, which I think I have an adapter for somewhere. Isn't great. I don't really want to be running a welder through an adapter, but it is what it is. I'll change it over at some point. If it works and it's fine, then I can cut the plug off. But obviously if it breaks, I need to be able to return it. So we'll just use an adapter for the time being. Okay, so there are actually two models. So you've got the TSCP and the TSCP-F. I've got the TSCP-F. So I'm going to set it up like this. So electrode, tip, standard shield cup. Screw in the end. I wonder if it's already set up, maybe. Take the shield cup off. It's already a bit corroded in there. So although mine says TSCPF, I've actually got parts in here, including a swell ring. I've got electrode, swell ring, tip, and the shield cup. I don't know if it's... Do not use anything other than compressed air. It doesn't say specifically why to use one or the other. I've got the parts for it, so I'm guessing should be fine. That is the electrode. Put that in there. Swell ring there. It goes like that. So actually this was all set up ready to go. Like that. Screw on. Okay, so that should in theory be set up. Next we've got the welder. So it doesn't actually have instructions. We've got this bag, I think had that in it. Oh, does that go in there? Yeah, that looks right. Weird that it doesn't have instructions for this. That's got a screw tip. Do these screw? So I'm back a few days later. I had to order this tungsten element. It's a metal that melts at something like 3,600 degrees. I think it's got like the highest melting point of all metals. That's why it's used to pass the current through for these welders. I went for blue, not because I love blue, not because it's my favorite color. Apparently it's like the most sort of universal one that you can just use for everything. I don't really know this. If you're a professional welder, you'll probably correct me. Put it in the comments. Let me know if I'm using the wrong color and what color you use, why it would be better. But I just ordered this one. Just thought, good to give it a go. I've also got a load of welding rods. Oh, they've got little handles. I've literally never used a TIG welder before, so this is gonna be really interesting. First thing we've got to do is put a point on the end of this tungsten element. I think it needs to be about 30 degrees, the actual angle of it, so quite a shallow angle. If you think that's flat, that is gonna be about 45 degrees-ish, maybe about that. We want something like that, so really shallow angle. A bench grinder would be ideal for this, but I'm going to use an angle grinder. I'm just going to get it to work for today. Probably not the best, but hopefully it will work. I reckon that should be good enough. Not perfect, but good enough for me to test it at least. I can perfect my skills later, but for now, I just want to see what this welder's like. So now we're going to chuck it in here. Put this bit in first. It will grab it, this like clampy bit. So as it gets tightened down, that will tighten on the tungsten rod. Going like that. So I'm going to put that through there. Oh. There you go. And then as I tighten this down, that will lock that into place. So I can adjust how far I want that to sit out, about that far out, because that's what it looks like in the pictures. I'm going to tighten this down. Also, it goes without saying, but don't have the welder on when you're doing this. You don't want to get electrocuted accidentally. Sweet, that's set up. Now the gun, so it's got two ends, quite obvious where they go. This one's got two holes, so that's going to go in the one with two holes. Screw that on, nice. And then this is for your gas, which I currently don't have. I wanted to test out the welder first before I committed to getting all of the stuff. I know my welds are going to look pretty terrible, but I think I'll get a good idea of what to expect. So actually kind of pointless plugging that in, but that's fine. I'm going to get the clamp. It's clamp actually with some copper wiring. So that is going to go, it's like the game when you're a kid, when you have to put all the shapes in the different things. So there's a little clamp symbol there. So that's going to go in there. And I think you just twist it. There you go. Yeah, nice. That's in. And then clamp that to the table. If you don't have a welding table, obviously you can weld to the actual metal that you're welding. But for me, this is just my makeshift workbench welding table. So I'm going to weld it onto there. That should be good because the current's obviously going to pass through the table to there. Sweet, I think we're set up. So this is just some leftover metal tubing that I've got. It's just mild steel, probably 2 mil thick. I had a quick look at other people's videos on how to actually weld. And what we're going to do is turn the machine on. I'm going to set it to, I'm going to say about 90 amps. The guy in the video, his metal was 5 millimeters and he was setting it to 110 amps. So I'm going to try 90, see what that looks like, and then have another go. Again, I'm a beginner. I've never done this before. I'm just using other people's YouTube videos to learn how to do it and then seeing if this TIG welder is any good. So I've got my mask. I've got my leather gloves, are two different ones, but they're both leather, so that's the important thing. So there are going to be other YouTube videos out there that will teach you how to weld. This is just seeing if I can do it. The video said, so let's say we were welding on here. So the video said you want to touch the end of the tungsten rod to the table, and then you want to tilt it at about 15 degrees, and then that's how you're going to be working going along. So for example, if I did it more exaggerated, touch it, tilt it, and then do your big circles. I'm a bit scared to turn this on. Ah, it's on. Yes, see that? Cool, so we are doing TIG, which is good because that's done. And then that's what? Ah, okay. So let's try 90, see what that does. This is scary. Ah, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, that's way too hot. This is already melted through. All right, let's turn it down 50 maybe. Still very hot. I've turned it right down. It's at 20 right now. We're gonna see if that's gonna be any better. That's hard actually. That's better, that's not melting it straight away. It would be easier if I had a flat piece of metal to work on. I would work on my workbench, but I don't wanna ruin it. So I'm gonna put the rod a bit further out. All right, try again. a lot better. Maybe be a little bit hotter. Okay, now I'm gonna feed in some metal. We're gonna see what happens. Jeez Louise. That is really hard. Definitely gonna need some more practice on that one. That was scarily hard actually. Yes, the welder definitely is doing what it's supposed to do. See here, for example, it's melted through. All this oxidation, that orange dust. If we had the argon gas as well, that does definitely weld. It's just completely gunked up the tip. That's gonna be a lot of practice to get good at that. Respect to anyone out there who does this. Wow. Right, so welder, yes, technically does work. Would it work well in the hands of someone who knew what they were doing? Probably. Does it work well in my hands? Not really, but that's probably a skill issue. So yeah, I'm gonna say welder, tick. Right, next up we have plasma cutter. This is the one that I was really interested in. This is the thing that caught my eye. So I'm gonna plug it in. Looks like it's same again, same as the TIG welder. Plug that in there you go. So it is not tightening very well. Not mad chuffed with that. Not perfect, so yeah, that's not great. So because we're using the plasma cutter, we need to change the mode to cut, I would say. That probably makes sense. Settings wise, I have no idea. We're just gonna guess that. Let's go for 20. Let's see what that gets us. I'm also missing a hose adapter to add this on. So I've just done a very janky setup of little air pistol hosed in and then off it goes. I should have a regulator on here for the PSI. Should have a quick adapter hose as well, but hopefully this is going to work for the test at least. Again, I just didn't want to invest in loads of stuff and then this 3-in-1 machine isn't any good. So I just want to see if it works, double check everything first, and then I can invest the money in the rest of it. I think that needs to be higher, put up to 30. I was having a little play around with it and I was starting to get a good arc, but then the cap smashed, I guess probably from the heat. Right, brand new everything back on. Let's try again. Aha. Just realized when you turn it back on, it doesn't auto save the settings. So I was plasma cutting with TIG. Change it to cut, put it to, what did the guy have in the video? Oh, 50's the max. All right, let's do 30. Let's see what 30 gets us. All right, maybe that's where we were going wrong. I was just welding with it. Well, that's a bit better. Hell yeah. Look at that, that's a great cut. Sick, all right, that's very cool. Okay, do that again. That's so cool. That's one of the coolest things I've done in a while. Whew. All right, here we go. Oh, it's like a little lightsaber. That is so cool. Oh, I'm glad that worked. Plasma cutter, big old tick. That's really cool. Very quick and nasty. I'm just gonna go see if that works. If it does, I mean, this one's pretty simple. This one's nothing crazy. So if that works, that means it's a good, decent little machine. I'll set it to MMA. Oh yeah. Okay. Turn it up to 60. Right, I don't, it's getting really hot. Right, I don't know enough about this welding, but it definitely works. Oh my God. Yeah, all right, let me turn it off. This one's scary. Current passes through, it would stick on. I'm happy that that stick welder works. So all in all, yeah, it works. 150 quid. It does what it says on the tin. It does TIG welding, plasma cutting, stick welding, or MMA. Apparently that's what it's called. Is it perfect? Probably not. I think my inexperience is hiding some of its flaws, and someone who was good at all of these things would probably pick it up and say, it does this, it does that, blah, blah, blah. But for the cheapest one on eBay, I think that potentially the cheapest one on the internet as well. This is great, really good. That plasma cutter was so cool. I'm gonna have another play around with that and just chop some bits in half. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to check out my other videos. Got a few more reviews up. There's gonna be a few more coming out. I've got loads of car stuff out as well, so loads of bits out there. If you like what you see, go check it out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.